In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to color grade your videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. To begin, I've imported this clip onto my timeline. The first thing you need to do is to come over to the Windows tab over here and scroll down and select Lumetri Color. The next thing you need to do is to come over here and select the basic correction drop down. And the first thing I always like to do is to make sure that my exposure is set right. So I'll come over here and select auto to auto balance my exposure. And what Premiere Pro has done is that it has automatically given me the best settings for this clip's exposure. Now, if I come over here and deselect Lumetri Color, you can see what we had. And if I select this now, we can see what we have. So this is a better exposure than what was shot on camera. The next thing you need to do is to come over to temperature over here. And depending on your footage, you want to adjust the temperature. If you move this temperature to the right, it means that you are going for a more sunny appearance or a temperate look. But if you take it to blue, it means that it was shot earlier in the morning. So you can color grade this based on what you're trying to achieve. I'm going to leave this somewhere in the middle. And the tint is used to correct color exposures. For example, if you shot your footage having a lot of pink over here, you can come over here and tilt it towards the green to reduce that pink. And if you shot your video with so much green, you can tilt it towards this direction to reduce the green. So that's basically what that does. I'm going to reset this back to normal. With the saturation over here, you can increase the pop-up of the color. So I'm going to increase this somewhere around 130%. And you can see that the colors has automatically popped up a bit. Now, if I come over here and deselect Lumetri Color, you can see what we had. And if I put this on, you can see what we have. Right? So I'm going to set this back to 0 to remove all the pink. I leave my saturation the way it is. The next thing you want to do is to select the light drop down over here. Now over here, you can decide to increase or reduce the exposure based on your footage. Mine seems fine, so I'm going to leave the exposure the way it is. The contrast over here, you can choose to adjust your contrast settings over here. You can choose to adjust your highlights. I'm just going to reduce mine a bit. You can choose to apply some effects to the white and black. Basically, I'm not going to do much of this. Where I want to talk about is the curves over here. Now, under the curves, we have several curves over here. But let's talk a little bit about the RGB curves. Now, if you select this white line over here, and you place a dot here, and you place another dot here, this top portion here symbolizes the brightness of the video, and this bottom portion here symbolizes the darkness of the video. Now, if I should create an S-curve by pulling this side down and pulling this portion higher, I'll be increasing the exposure over here, and I'll be increasing the darkness. In general, this creates a kind of saturation to the clip, but I'm going to reduce this a bit and make this curve down a bit. The next thing I would like to talk about is the hue versus saturation. What this does is, if I select a color picker here, I can select a portion of the clip that I would like to increase or reduce that color. For example, if I select this sky over here and take this up, I can make the sky more blue. But you need to be careful because this doesn't only affect the sky, it affects the blues on every region. For example, if you check this billboard over here, the moment I take this down, the blue reduces on that billboard also alongside every portion of the clip. So if I take this up, I'm making the sky more blue and I'm adding some blue to the environment also. Next, let's scroll down to the color wheels and match. Now, under the color wheels and match, we have the shadows, the highlights, and the midtones. If I come down here and reduce the shadow a bit, and reduce the highlight a bit, and increase the midtone, you'll see that the colors begins to pop out more. But you can edit this based on your own video. Also, you can come over to the vignette amount over here and reduce the amount of vignette to add some black vignette. Now, if you take it to the end, it's going to be so obvious. You can come over to feather over here and increase the amount of feather. I think the saturation of this clip is kind of a bit, so I'll come over to basic correction and reduce this saturation a bit. Now, if I come over to Effects Control and deselect Lumetri Color, you can see what we initially had. And if I toggle this back on, you can see what we have. And that's it, guys, on how to color grade your videos as a beginner in Premiere Pro. Thank you for watching and see you in my next tutorial tomorrow.